So right here, these two pieces, obviously this piece and this piece, are going to be a horizontal shiplap fireplace around. Now, when we first started, we used to just build these we used to just frame them out of 2x4s, like a lot of people do. You know, put the 2x4s together, and then on the front, they just slap in the shiplap. But one issue you encounter a lot is that you need to find really straight 2x4s. If not, you have an issue with it all being leveled and consistent. So what we started doing is we started adding a sheet in the front of 1/2-inch birch plywood, and what it does is keeps everything consistent. And not only that, is that you don't have to find the studs when you're shooting the brad nails. So now you can just pretty much shoot them anywhere, as long as this is on there really good. You can shoot them anywhere and hold it really tight. And what we do is we shoot them all the way through the back, and then we kind of just fold them, start folding them down before this one goes out. So we fold them down, and it helps just keep them all in place. We used to glue them, but if you don't lay the glue out perfectly, if you don't put the glue on really good, you're gonna have little hills, little bumps here and there. So avoid that. We just brad nail them on. We fold the backs. That's pretty much been worked out really well with that. Now we're all about details. So one thing, for instance, this bottom is gonna have a hearth. Now there's right here, it's just two pieces. It's about, these two together is about 9 inches. So it's actually, each one is about 9 inches, 4 3/4. So the reason we do it exactly there, so you can even have it there, or you can have it much higher, 4 3/4 inches higher. So that way when you wrap the shiplap, it goes this way. It's nice and consistent. You don't have, like if you do that a foot, then you'll have a piece. You'll have to rip a whole piece right there, and it doesn't look as nice. Now this is right here is the top part. This customer, like several customers, they don't want the TV recess into the frame. They don't want the TV recess all into the frame, so they want the TV over it, especially if they want to get a bigger TV later. So what we do is we build a cubby for it. Then the cubby, it's right here. This gets nailed onto the wall, just like the rest of the frame. And then the TV mount goes on that. And then we the reason we like to put the cubby, because you could just make the panel go all the way down and then put the put the mount over it. But then when you look through the side view, you see the mount. So we like the mount to go all the way in. The mount's all the way in, and also we like to put little shelves so they can put the electronics, store everything. So this top piece doesn't have any shiplap yet. The reason I have a shiplap yet is because the top piece is going to go on top of that one, and it's just a little too heavy. It's dangerous for the guys to carry when you have the shiplap, the plywood, and the frame. So now this one, I think, so we typically just have the shiplap off. Sometimes we even take this off. On this one, we might take it off as well. Just mount the frame, then put this back on, and then of course as well as the shiplap. I forgot to mention on this side, right here, any paint other than white, we like to paint in between with the brush, in between the lines, because it's really hard to get in there with the sprayer. Now we like to spray everything all the shiplap we do. Actually, pretty much every model that we do, we like to spray it because it looks a lot nicer. You get a lot better finish. We don't like to brush or roll anything like that. Now we used to put the first coat. We used to spray it like this was black. We used to spray it all black. You know, maybe the spray booth, we spray it all black. Then we slap it on, then we fill the nail holes, then we primer the nail holes, and then we give it the final coat. But a lot of times you still had some bleed through. So what we do now is we just, fill the lines, and then at the customer's house, we do the 2 coats. We do the finish over there for that one. And also, I forgot to mention that this side. So another little trick here too is that when you cut these right here, if you have a router, you don't have to cut them exact. You can run them all like a little over, maybe like a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch over. Just let them cut them all, line them up on that end, let them hang out a little bit here, boom, 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 and then just get a router and route it all the way down, because it's gonna have a piece here. It's gonna have the side pieces, then it's gonna have 3/4 inch trim in the corner. Now, if you're gonna miter it, then of course you're not gonna do any of that. But this one's gonna have trim. Most of them do have trim. It's gonna have trim at the bottom. It's gonna have a top, a stained top. It's gonna have a mantle. Mantle's gonna be stained. It's gonna match the top, and it's gonna have a flat stock trim board on top. Also, one thing I almost forgot to mention is that when we install shiplap, we like to make sure that it's exactly the same. Make sure that it's basically that it's leveled. So the same is on the left side. You have the same thing on the right side. So basically, from right here, from the bottom all the way, like from the bottom to here, it's gonna be the same thing from bottom to right here, you know. So as you go up, if you make sure that this, like if it didn't have a hearth, you know, you'll start at the bottom, you check this, okay, you have that there, you do the same thing on that side. So like when we did this one, we checked the bottom to the top of the hearth. That was a certain, I think it was 9 inches. And then from there, same thing, it was 9 inches. And once you have that, then you can use this as a guide. So for instance, the top, where the black starts on the very top, it's 42 3/4. And then it's the same thing over here, 42 3/4. So you can basically do that all the way up. Once you install the top part, you want to make sure that you're checking the right side. And then once you reach a certain distance, check it and just keep going back and forth. And that's how you keep it all leveled and straight.